Yes, ma'am. You can start.
Will you start or should I start?
You can start. You are live now. You are visible to participants.
Okay. Good morning, everyone. On behalf of the management, faculty, and students of the School of Law, NorthCap University, it gives me immense pleasure to introduce and welcome our two guest speakers today, Dr. Manish Arora, Advocate Supreme Court of India and Director of the Universal Law Publishing Company, and Mr. Tariq Khan, Advocate and Principal Associate, Dispute Resolution at Advani & Company, New Delhi. I welcome all of you to today's webinar on Excellence in Legal Education, Theory to Practice, which is organized by the Law School of NorthCap University. The School of Law, NorthCap University, was established in the year 2000, and over a period of 10 years, it has created for itself an important position among the most promising law schools, not only in North India, but across India. We offer a 5-year integrated BBA LLB honors course. Besides this, we also offer LLM in 3 streams, which is corporate law, human rights, and intellectual property rights. We also have a PhD program for which we'll be advertising soon. Now, the BBA LLB integrated course is in accordance with the Bar Council of India. The syllabus meets the requirements of the Bar Council of India, and it has been duly recognized. And the content and the syllabus of the course is parallel and at par with all the best law schools of the country, not only the national law schools, but also the Faculty of Law, which is there in central universities and state universities. We are very proud to admit and recognize the fact that we have an excellent faculty at the School of Law, NorthCap University. Our faculty comes from top NLUs across India and also from central and state universities. Some of them have already got PhD degrees and others are pursuing it. We give a lot of importance to the research acumen also of law. Apart from this, the students that we get into our law school come from diverse backgrounds from across India, and being in proximity with Delhi, we get the best students from Delhi. So coming from a public university such as Jamia Millia Islamia and joining NorthCap University, I can say with a lot of conviction and belief that the law school at NorthCap University is really doing very well. The ambience of the university is excellent. Everything is very well organized. The students are brilliant. They have an eagerness and curiosity to learn. The teachers are accessible. The management is accessible. And apart from that, whenever there are opportunities for growth for students, the School of Law always comes forward. That we do not want to only give classroom teaching to our students, we also believe in experiential learning, which means that we have a lot of extracurricular activities at the law school. We engage and organize moot court competitions, client counseling competition, debates, legal quiz. We have seminars, conferences, we have workshops organized, and we have stalwarts from the legal fraternity who come and deliver lectures, ranging from judges, from senior advocates, other well-known advocates, from the industrial sector, from academics, and from any other sector aspect of the legal fraternity. Very good people are invited to share the platform for us, for the students. Now, we also have a very good and organized legal aid clinic, and we do many outreach programs. This is with Legal Services Authority, Gurgaon. And now since I'm there, I'll also try to explore to connect it with Delhi Legal Services Authority if it is possible. Because I remember when we were in Jamia, we had a group of paralegal volunteers. And I want our students to become paralegal volunteers also and take part in the projects that are done by the Delhi Legal Services Authority. Now, law gives you a lot of opportunities. So today, the speakers that we have are going to tell you in detail what law entails and why is it important to study law and the opportunities that are available in pursuing a career in law, because as we can see it, the demands in the society for law has increased multifold. And we have a range of opportunities today. So I will not encroach upon this area because my two speakers will speak on this. And I would end on this note before I invite the first speaker. In the words of Thomas Jefferson, who was the third president of the US, the study of law is useful in a variety of points of view. It qualifies a man, I've included a woman also, to be useful to himself or herself, to his neighbor and to the public. Now I would like to end on this note and introduce to all of you our first speaker, Dr. Manish Arora. Dr. Manish Arora, I know him since many years. He's an extremely versatile and highly acclaimed legal luminary. Besides being a brilliant advocate, he has been a remarkable educator, editor, and author. Dr. Arora did his graduation from Hindu College, University of Delhi, and obtained his legal education from the Faculty of Law, again, University of Delhi. He pursued subsequently some courses at Harvard Law School, those courses being Judicial Doctorate in Intellectual Property and a Judicial Doctorate in Advanced Licensing. Besides, he also completed the Leaders in Licensing course from Harvard University. Dr. Arora practices law in the Supreme Court of India. He's also the director of the Universal Publishing Company and a senior consultant to LexisNexis, again, a prominent publishing house in India. Dr. Arora is also the president of the Universal Institute of Legal Studies, which is doing very well and trains and educates students to take exams like CLAT and other similar entrance exams conducted by public and private universities for admissions in law and LLM. Dr. Arora is indeed a prolific writer. He has edited many books and written several articles on diverse legal topics. He also edits a monthly magazine, which is very popular for lawyers. And he makes it a point to see that in the pandemic period, everybody gets it through the electronic media. He is an academician at heart and is associated with top law schools. He delivers lectures at Amity Law School, at the National Judicial Academy, Bhopal, at Harvard Law School, and even at the University of Queensland, Brisbane, Australia. He's been an arbitrator in several matters and has been appointed as an arbitrator by the Ministry of Information Technology, Government of India, for the settlement of international domain name disputes. In fact, he was involved and worked as a magistrate in the matrimonial disputes in the 17th Lok Sabha Adalat organized in Delhi. Dr. Manish Arora has been the president of Harvard Club and he's played a very important role there. I know he used to send me invites very often. And at present, he's the chairman of the Legal Committee and Copyright Committee of the Federation of Publishers and Booksellers Association in India. Surely, Dr. Manish Arora has had and continues to have a very adventurous and exciting career in law. I'm very grateful to you on behalf of everybody that you've agreed to come today and share the platform with you. I request you to please give your input on the topic Excellence in Legal Education, Theory to Practice. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, first of all, I must thank the management of the NorthCap University and especially the head Professor Dr. Manjula Batra, and especially for saying so beautiful words for me today. And I must also congratulate the university and Professor Batra for very aptly deciding to hold this webinar for the benefit of students, parents, and many more, like who are actually aspiring to do law, thinking about doing law, anything, because this is the right time to actually think about where and how to get into law. So basically, and my congratulations, first of all, to the participants who all have gathered today on this morning. No doubt, especially at their own places, but their participation is really very overwhelming because why I congratulate a participant is because they have at least thought of going into law. They are actually thinking of, maybe they have so many avenues in front of them, engineering, medicine, accountancy, whatever, but still going into law, if you're thinking, that means you are thinking right. Okay, so basically, I must say to start with that the legal profession is a very fantastic profession. It's very exciting, right? Not even the profession, but even the study, starting from your first year of law itself. It's so exciting, and so that there are so many things which come to you every day when you interact with your teachers, interact with your subjects, and happening with the moot courts and so many other activities which your law schools give you these days. It is a beautiful profession, and this is one profession where a person never retires, right? Even today, we see our lawyers like Fali Nariman or Soli Sorabji who are in their 90s now and still practicing, going to the courts, appearing in the courtrooms, right? We just saw Mr. Parasaran, who was there in the Ram Janambhoomi case in Supreme Court, who was arguing the matter at the age of 92 in front of a judge. So that makes the profession so vibrant, so excellent that it takes you on. So it is quite an exciting, and I would say, as Professor Batra was saying that about that, I would say I have tasted a lot in the in this profession, being an advocate, being an author, being an academician. So this has so many things on the platter. Gone are those days when it used to be that we used to say the lawyer means the black and white, the black coat, and you're arguing. That is the first thing which comes to mind to everybody. Anybody who says, okay, I'm an advocate. Advocate means, yes, okay, that means the first thing comes to mind is that you are a person like who goes to the court with a black coat and you are arguing. But actually, this is not so. Today we have fantastic opportunities. So today what I'll be precising myself will be mainly, first of all, on the opportunities. Then maybe we can talk about some other things, about the placements and certain things, and then I'll respond, and then maybe after the second speaker we can obviously, as ma'am will say, we can take up questions or whatever is there. So so talking about, first of all, talking about law is that it's very easy to do law. First of all, very easy. Why? Because there are thousands of law schools, right? So many law schools, but getting into a good law school is something which is very important, and that is something which why we are here today also, why you can choose. Because if we say doing a law from any school means, yes, you get the same degree, no doubt, but getting it from a good law school, say from a NorthCap University School of Law, that means good faculty, good infrastructure, good facilities, good programs. There are sometimes you get good opportunities, even for exchange programs, even for other things, even for higher studies, doing moot courts, getting placements, getting into more other opportunities, being in the vicinity of Delhi NCR. So a lot of other opportunities for getting internships and so on and so on. So that is something, an important aspect which one must see before joining any law school. So that is something good. So I'm lucky to be here today at the platform of NorthCap University to deliver some interactions with all the participants. So starting from the opportunities, I have jotted down few opportunities which came to my mind. Starting with it is absolutely the main is practicing, right? Practicing advocate is the best and the foremost opportunity which everybody gets after doing your law. After getting your degree, you are eligible. After giving your bar exam, you're eligible to practice in any court of law in India. There is no restriction for anybody doing it from Delhi. You have to practice in Delhi. No, you can practice anywhere in the country. So that is the best one. Then there are a lot of consultancy opportunities. These days, a lot of consultants have come up. Specialized consultants, say excise consultants, these days GST consultants, tax consultants, even matrimonial consultants, who are not actually taking up your cases in the court, sitting on the 14th floor of a building in Gurgaon, but just giving consultancy. So meeting people, consultancy over online, over the table kind of things, like what and where do we stand in a court of law. Then a lot of opportunities are there in the government sector. Law offices in the government, every ministry has a lot of departments. Every department has a law department. So there are a lot of opportunities to join. If you don't want to join the full-time practice, you don't want to go to courts, you can join in government, a 10 to 5 job, Monday to Friday kind of a job, easy going, simple and good. So that is also an opportunity which a person gets after that. Next in my list is academician. Obviously, we have a lot of academicians out here itself on our panel and everywhere, and definitely we see there are opportunities. Why? Because obviously number of law schools, number of courses, number of specializations, then number of like master's courses, further courses, diplomas, so and so. So good opportunities are there. If you have an intent of academics, you can do an academics. If you are satisfied with that, it's a very good opportunity. Then in case if again you are not much into practice, don't want to go there, you can join in as a researchers. There are a lot of research oriented works, especially in the courts, in the Supreme Court, in all the high courts, even at district court level today. The government has planned to attach researchers with the judges, and these researchers are quite well paid and obviously employees of the court itself. And these researchers, the work is to research about the cases, about the case laws, net researches, manual researches, getting the comments of the judges, comments of the authors and things and so on, opinions and so on, to help the judge or the court to deliver the best. So that research opportunity is also there. Then author. Again, I'm telling you about from my own perspective is that being an author, if you have a tinge of writing, you can be an author without going to a court, without doing anything, only being an author. There are quite a lot of authors who are very well paid, who get good royalties. And the best part in legal writing is that it never gets, it is not a stagnant writing. It's not like you're written a novel or a fiction or a non-fiction book or a bit come out with that and then it stucks. That means that book will be there and that's all, right? But in law, what happens is that if you write a book, you have a lot of opportunities to revise it because law is ever changing. The law changes, the precedents change, a lot of judgments come, a lot of things come. So every year you have to revise your books. So it's an ongoing process. So you're involved in the book itself. If you write 1 or 2 or 5 books, you're involved in it throughout your life. Then there is another good opportunity, which is a legal correspondent. Legal correspondent is if you have have some pinch of this journalism. So this is a very good blend with journalism, because even today we all see on our TV screens that we see breaking news. What happens is that Riya Chakravarti has been questioned by CBI. Riya Chakravarti has been now bail has been rejected, or somebody's bail matter, some matters, and how we get is immediately as soon as the judge is pronouncing a judgment in the courtroom at say 12:30 in the afternoon, at 12:30 and 5 seconds, it is flashed on the TV screens that this is the judgment. How it comes is, it comes through a lawyer, right? A person who has done his LLB, who is good enough at a journalism, can join in Star TV, ABP News, or Z News, or even Times of India, Hindustan Times, or whatever channels, print or otherwise. And they are there in each courtroom we find there are people who are lawyers, but not arguing, but only taking notes and grasping what the judge is saying. So as soon as the judge is finished with the verbal order, because you have to be a lawyer to actually understand that order. You understand that order and you immediately reverses back on your through your media, and you tell your media office that yes, this is what the judge has said. The judgments come later on, but the media house gets to know what happened. So they're all lawyers who are actually there, and they are it's a beautiful opportunity that way, even without going to the courts, but without going for argument or without going for your clients, but going to cover up the cases. So that's a good thing. Then another point which comes to my mind is, yes, quite a lot of us these days are inclined towards politics. So in case if you want to join politics, again, law is something like, I would say, essential ingredient. Even today, most of our parliamentarians are lawyers. They are lawyers. That is how, because law is one profession which gives you the which teaches you the art of articulation, the art of debating, art of speaking. So that is what happens in the parliament. Then making laws for the country. That means if you know law, you are much better to make a law, to make a debate, things like that. So if you want to join politics, yes, law is again a good option to do law and then obviously join politics. Then okay, like if maybe a lot of banking opportunities are also there, because like a lot of students who want to join BBA are from the commerce background or maybe from humanities also, but a lot of banking opportunities are there today because we have so many banks and then so many bank branches. We can see the branches of banks in every lane in the residential areas or in commercial areas, right? Some other bank is there. So every bank is doing transactions online, offline, everything. So a lot of frauds are happening these days, internet frauds and a lot of e-banking frauds, a lot of dishonor of checks matters. And the banks also have these days a lot of compliances to do with the Reserve Bank of India, with other agencies. So they need lawyers. So every bank has a very good chunk of lawyers who work for them as a 10 to 5 banking hours, Monday to Friday, whatever banking hours, right? With all the perks, with all the holidays, everything. They are the employees of banks, but they are basically lawyers, but working for a bank. So it's a very huge chunk which is of lawyers which is needed with the banks itself. Then there are also opportunities in intellectual property laws, which I would mention would be like somebody wants to be a patent attorney or something. So doing your like you have to do your law and then you have masters at your university itself, masters in intellectual property law, and then you do only for patent filing, trademarks, copyright. So you can specialize yourself within law itself. So that's again an opportunity which you get. A lot of opportunities are there, but this is just few as a specific I'm telling you. Then another one in a specific mode is cyber law, right? Cyber law is again something which is gearing up in the last couple of decades. In fact, now since 2000, in fact, when the act came into force, the Information Technology Act, it started gearing up because it's an international law. And our law is full-fledgedly okay with the international all laws. So what we basically are looking for is like young lawyers. Even a lawyer with a 50-year standing today is not that good at cyber law. Why? Because you guys, you are born with the mobiles and the laptops, whereas a 50 years practiced lawyer had seen through mobiles and then the smartphones. Some of them today even don't know how to work a smartphone, but you guys know what the technology is, how it can be hacked, how the things can move, how the internet moves and things like that. So you are in a better position to join as a cyber lawyer. Then arbitration, obviously, my friend, the next speaker would definitely be speaking. He's himself and heads the arbitration at Advine company, so he knows quite well about what is that, because arbitration is again almost like a parallel litigation itself. And these days the courts are also saying that, yes, encouraging. The courts say we already have a pile up of cases, so we do have a lot of piling. Go to an arbitrator, so you get a better result. So definitely. Then next is again an opportunity, which is very exciting one, is called the judicial service. As soon as you complete your LLB 5 years down the line, you can sit for a judicial exam, and judicial service exam is held by all the high courts, and there is no restriction of sitting any exam. Like a person graduated from Delhi can sit for exam in Tamil Nadu or Punjab or Haryana, anywhere. So after you clear that exam and you're through with all the formalities, you are posted as a metropolitan magistrate or a civil judge. So that means at a young age of 22, 23, 24, one can become a judge. That means you are on the other side of the courtroom. You are not arguing, but you are giving judgments. So that's so excitement. It's quite exciting that a person of young age, even we today see in the district courts, a lot of young judges who are sitting and giving judgments. So, and you get a lot of perks, and definitely the position is there that you become a judge at the age, and you have a lot of options to actually be promoted to further to sessions judge, and as well as the high court judge, and even to a Supreme Court judge. We even today have a lot of high court judges who actually come from the judiciary itself. So that is something, if somebody is mainly interested into the judiciary side, yes, one can prepare for that exam. And that exam is just immediately after your LLB itself. So even without going for a single day to the court as a lawyer, as appearing as a lawyer, you can straight away go on the other side, become a judge. That's quite interesting. Then another option which comes to my mind is LPO, that is called legal process outsourcing. We've all heard about BPOs, business process outsourcing, but now this is about legal process outsourcing. And legal process outsourcing is basically a very much advantage to India with a lot of things. Legal process outsourcing, what exactly it is like if you are a lawyer and you have a contact with a foreign lawyer, and a lawyer, say in New York, when he finishes his work in the evening at around 5:30, 6 o'clock, he sends a mail to you saying that he needs some opinion on this matter, he needs some draft on this matter or whatever. And when you start your office in the morning, it's night there. You do your whole work during the day, and these days research is very easy. You can even research on Westlaw or even on any of the foreign database where you can know about the cases, about the local laws and everything. And because the lawyers in the West, in fact, all over the world today, they know that India has the best minds. So that is something which now everybody says very bluntly, that India has the best minds. So they actually believe in the Indian lawyers. Like they have a lot of belief in the Indian lawyers that you will do a good work. Your English is good, your presentation is good, you can draft very well, things like that. So that is, and you are paid very well too in these cases, because whatever the payment terms are, and it's a win-win situation for them also, because if they get the work done with the local lawyers there, they pay 10 times more than what they're paying you. But still, what you're getting is still a few times much more than what you get for an Indian work. So LPOs these days are picking up, and their organizations also, their individuals also, their small organizations, big organizations who are now tying up with foreign law firms and foreign lawyers to work for them in India. So it's again an opportunity. Then next opportunity, which is again an important one, is if you people have a flair to join defense services. So why do law defense services is something very different. But yes, doing law means joining the Judge Advocate General Department, which we call the JAG department. In this Judge Advocate General Department, it's a huge department within Defense Services where there are many number of lawyers who join this, where you have to work as a lawyer in that particular department. A lot of service matters, a lot of courts martial, a lot of other matters which don't come to the main courts, but they are settled within the defense itself. And you get all the perks as a defense personnel. You don't have to go to the borders, that's it, but you can actually do work as a member of the JAG department, as a lawyer, but you get all the perks as a defense personnel. So so that's again a good opportunity which comes. And then coming to the next one is the police. Okay, again in the police department. These days we see a lot of role of police, CBI and Crime Records Bureau and all of them which are coming to the rescue of certain high profile cases. Most of these high profile, the top cops are lawyers. Most of the top cops in India are lawyers. The reason very well is that they are implementing laws. So if you know law, you have done your law, you are at a very better position to implement a law. Under which section, under what section is to be like under IPC, what section goes for this particular type of a case. So it starts from the small point itself, but going to the higher top cops, most of them are lawyers. So if you have a student has a fear of joining police services, yes, law is quite important, a very important one. Then very much related to this is criminologist. If you have a fear of, say, yes, criminologist. Criminologist is again like fingerprints, handprints, and these days, as you see, a lot of forensic science is involved. The forensic investigation is involved for murder cases, suicide cases, and many other cases. And also we have these days very advanced forensics, say like brain mapping or some lie detectors and kind of a things which has also come up. But you, apart from knowing the criminology side, you also need to be a lawyer because you have to present a case to the court, either from the government side or from any other side. But most of the cases in India actually fall apart because they say it is a lack of evidence and lack of criminal evidence, lack of criminology, because of the reason, because the evidence is not there. But if you're a lawyer, you know what kind of evidence can go and actually fetch the justice to the particular case. So that is again an opportunity which is there. Then few other opportunities like environmentalist. These days a lot of environmental issues are coming up. National Green Tribunal is there. So if you have a flair of like environment, like we have lawyers these days who are specializing only in the environmental issues, right? So you can have a specialist on that. You have to have human rights. So a lot of lawyers who are into human rights. Then lastly, even NGOs. Most of the NGOs in our country have either on their boards or in their management lawyers, because ultimately the work of NGO, whether NGO is working for a poor, NGO is working for women rights, NGO is working for child rights, NGO working for anything, will be ultimately they have to deal with police and with the courts. So the lawyers make more sense that if how can they take the things to the court, filing PILs, filing other things and so on. So from that point of view, yes, that is again an opportunity. So these were few opportunities which actually came to my mind, where I can basically see that how there might be many more by the time you guys complete your law. There could be many more where you can because during this 5 years it happens. New laws come into force, the new laws which emerge, as I told you, cyber law, which was not there at all so many years back. Even when we studied law, there was no cyber law, the course was not there, but now it's a compulsory course within your curriculum itself. So things like that are there. So these were the opportunities which I wanted to speak to you. And the other aspects, maybe I can speak right away itself, 2-3 more things and then pass it on. Because see, I would also like to tell you, obviously your teachers would be the best guide for you and your mentors, that what should be like for becoming a good lawyer, or a good getting on with your good legal studies. What all is needed is basically, I would say, you should have, apart from the other qualities like a good spokesperson, good this, good writing and good English and all those things. Apart from that, there is another thing, is the research, which I must emphasize to all of you, is very important in the legal profession. See, you will have to read, as I was giving example of Fali Nariman or Soli Sorabji or K. Parasaran, even they read a lot as of today. Even at the age of 90 years, they read, right? So you should have a passion of reading, or if you don't have, you have to cultivate it. I'll give you an example. I was in the law faculty, Delhi University, and there, on an average, in those good times, now the things have definitely changed in legal education all over. And those old good times, we used to read maybe around 10-15 pages a day on an average. That should be good enough for us to sail through. I immediately after my law at Delhi University, I joined Harvard Law School. Okay, for my further studies. It was my third or the fourth day at the law school where I could find that the system at the law school at Harvard is very different. It's the reverse way. It gives you, here we have that the teacher teaches you and then you go back and study. Whereas at certain in the US and many other countries also, the law schools have a curriculum saying you have to study first and then come. And within the class itself, we'll have a debate. And whoever is well read will know what is being taught, otherwise not. So from that point of view, it was basically something which was coming up, and I was given around, we had around 4 subjects, 4 classes the next day, and we were given that you have to read, say, around 100, 150, 200 pages for each subject for the next morning. Next morning was class, and 4 o'clock we were given this assignment. So first of all, I thought I'm at a wrong place because it's so difficult for me to read around 500 to 700 pages overnight and again be ready for the next class. But I must thank my alma mater, Harvard Law School, for teaching me how to read between the lines, how to actually read. And today, when at the Supreme Court, we get matters which are actually matters from the district courts, traveled from district courts to the sessions, to the High Court, from the division benches, and then come to the Supreme Court. So there's a bunch of papers. So need to read, right? So I must tell you that yes, reading is very important. And lastly, I would just like to say about, because I already told you that lot of aspects are there, and a lot of placements are there. For example, their corporate placements are there. There could be in the corporate placements. I would just like to give you an example that Tata's itself, as of today, has 400 lawyers employed by them, right? Employees, not on their panels, but employed. That means they work in Tata's 10 to 5. They might go to courts also, but they are working in Tata's, vetting all their agreements, vetting all their notices, replying to certain matters, this and that, whatever. So they're all legal lawyers, 400 lawyers only in Tata. Similarly, at all the big companies, maybe Reliance, maybe there are so many others who have actually good chunk. So you have got good opportunities to be fed there also. But obviously the practice prospect is something very, very thing. Like I'll give you an example of practice prospect also. Practice needs a bit of patience. Like if you join a law firm, suppose after when I come to placements, I would just give you some data like how are students being placed these days. But if you join a law firm, the day one you start getting your salary. As soon as you do your law, sometimes you get your placements on campus, or immediately after your study, you get into a law firm and you start your payments getting first day. But if you are practicing, you won't get the salary from the first day. You would be required to maybe around 3 years, 5 years minimum of your, you have to work with a junior lawyer, a senior lawyer as a junior, and then obviously things will work accordingly. So from that point of view, even I'll tell you, there are lawyers, no doubt, like Falin Nariman or K.K. Venugopal, who is the present Solicitor General, and Soli Sorabji. We don't have with us Ramjit Malani now, Harish Salve, Abhishek Singhvi, and KTS Tulsi, or maybe Mukul Rodgi, Mr. Chandyok. And these are basically names which we read every day. And you know, they charge approximately around, say around 10 to 15 or sometime more lakhs per hearing. And let me tell the participants that what is per hearing? Per hearing is not per case. Per hearing is something like you go to, it is the hearing what we see in the news and in the TV channels, or we see in the these serials, or we see in the movies like Sunny Deol saying Tariq pe Tariq and all those things. In fact, they are all over what you see in movies, but actually speaking, the lawyer speaks in front of a judge for 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes in a normal discussion. And for that case, a person gets around 10 to 15 lakhs per hearing. And if he does around 3 to 5 hearings in a day, a person like him, he would be paid around 40 to 50 lakhs by the evening. So that is what I'm saying. It's, if you have thought of going into law, you have not thought wrong. It's a good profession where you can really earn that way. But on the other hand, yes, it is a rosy picture, no doubt, because not every lawyer earns like that. But yes, your decent work, your decent education, first of all, that really gives you and reaps you ahead to actually being paid very, very properly. So I'll now, before I end my session, I would just like to say that I have some data. This is of last year, which say that how have been the students being placed, or what have they opted for after doing the law. Because you see, ultimately, if you are going in for law, you want to do law. Why? You want to do law because at the end of the day, you want to earn bread and butter for yourself, for your family. You're not doing law for charity. You're not doing law only for seeking a name for yourself. Ultimately, whatever profession you choose, maybe you choose engineering, you choose accountancy, you choose medicine. Ultimately, your aim is to actually, yes, to be settled in your life with fetching good amount of money, which would be good for your happy living. So from that point of view, I'm coming to the ultimate thing is that what you have to think about, what 5 years beyond, what maybe 5 years or 7 years beyond, what you want to do. So keeping that in view, the present percentage, I'm telling you, this is of 2 years back, but it's nothing has much changed. 36% of students who do law in India, 36%, that means 36 out of 100, go and join the law firms. And why law firm is because simply it's an easy money, straightforward, no patience required. Go ahead. A good chunk. Then a very good chunk of lawyers, that is who do law, 20% of them join civil services. That's also something very important, which actually I missed out in when I was talking about opportunities, because this is again an opportunity why people take law is also when they are pursuing civil service examinations together with it. Because if you are studying law, because law is one of the major subjects in civil services too. And if you opt for this civil services, law is a subject. So that particular part is done because you already done your law. So you are well versed with the legal part of civil services. So you need to only pursue on the other part. So 20% of the students who actually join law, who clear law, join civil services. Then 12% of the law students after completing the law join corporates. That means companies like Tata or Reliance or maybe Birlas and all those companies like ICICI or even HDFC, and they're all HSBC, all those banking as well as the corporate industry. 12%. 11% of the students actually join higher studies, because that's also the beauty of this particular profession is that it's not only that once you do your law, then you have to think of what to do next, what stream, what else. No, it's not a simple and plain graduation. It's a professional, right? So then you enter into LLM, and within the LLM you have a lot of options. As ma'am was telling you, you have human rights, you have intellectual property, you have others, though all those, so you can have your streams. So higher studies, 11% of the students have joined them. 6% of the students have recently started joining LPOs. That I was telling you, it's a new concept, but 6%, that means 6 out of 100 students actually join LPOs these days. Only 6% join litigation. So out of 100 students who actually complete their law, only 6 of them go and join the courtrooms. No doubt, it's something which needs to be improved, obviously. But anyways, 6% only who join litigation. 3% of the students also are there who join foreign law firms, apart from the Indian law firm, which I said 36%. 3% join foreign law firms. And because there are a lot of foreign law firms who pick up students from India and they want them to come and join them at their headquarters itself. Maybe it's US, UK, Singapore, Dubai, Australia, a lot of places. Then 2% of them goes for the judicial clerkships, and 4% are others who actually go into some other streams. So this is what I just wanted to share. I have certain more things, but I think the best would be that we can interact with the other speaker too, and then we can see if there could be something which needs more interactions, in fact. So thank you very much for being so patiently hearing me. Thanks a lot. Thanks, ma'am.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Manish, for an excellent talk. I think you've given an idea of all the opportunities that one can get in the legal field, and there are plenty. Now, I will dwell upon your area later when we get questions, because Dr. Archana Sharma, who's actually the HOD of the law school at NorthCap University, she has an important meeting and she would like to say a few words before she leaves the meeting. I'm very happy to invite her right now. Okay, Archana, please come. Dr. Archana. Dr. Archana, where is she? She's gone.
Please wait. Ma'am, please wait.
Okay. So you did an excellent overview, Manish, with all the opportunities, beginning from litigation, research, coming to, the IPS officers also. Civil services was again an area which, you took up, and I feel that lawyers can do very well in civil services. And if they choose law subjects, they can actually clear the civil services exam, because I've gone for a number of interviews, where civil services candidates were interviewed and I was in the interview panel. So I've seen that students who do take up law do much better. So that's the idea. And definitely, I think it's a better. Yeah. Archana ma'am, please.
A very good morning to all of you. So it was an excellent interaction that we had just now. It was really nice listening to you. Yes, as the head of the institution, I thought it's my duty to address the gathering today. A very good morning to one and all present here today. On behalf of School of Law, the NorthCap University, I extend a warm welcome to all the law students, law aspirants, parents, my colleagues, and the eminent speakers for today's event, and all the well-wishers. It has been a great pleasure for me to be associated with the legal academia, and especially with NQ Law School for last 1 decade. And it's really a wonderful experience. It's a wonderful feeling to see the institution growing in the last 1 decade. Yeah, having said so, the overwhelming presence of law and its application in every field of knowledge is what the contemporary world strongly reflects today. And enabling a sustainable career in legal education is the need of the hour. And I think the same must be duly addressed by every institute imparting legal education today. Amidst significant growth in legal education across India, School of Law, the NorthCap University has already established itself as one of the recognized and preferred destinations of learning law, not only in Delhi and NCR, but also in the rest of the country. We have the pleasure to inform all the audience who has gathered here today that we do have students from almost all the parts of the country, and that gives a very good feeling. It's the diverse, the crowd of students that we get. That is something which we always feel good to talk about. At the same time, it is worth mentioning that with the outbreak of the recent pandemic, we at the NorthCap University took up several efforts to keep the academics and other associated activities go on uninterrupted. Thereby, we tried our best to maintain the quality of legal education. And yes, there is no doubt about the fact that we all are going through a difficult phase, right? Especially in terms of choosing the right career options for our young aspirants. And not only that, it is also a challenge for those who are already into the legal profession, and especially when they are into the mid of their tenure in law school, they are also sometimes clueless about how they should go ahead. I think that is what we all thought about, and this is the reason why we have gathered here today with three eminent speakers who has been guiding you all in understanding the various aspects of legal profession. So my sincere thanks to all the speakers, especially Professor Manjula Batra ma'am for coordinating the event, today's event. So, so we would continue with that, and I hope at the end of the sessions, our students and the law experience, the parents, all of them will have a very good idea. They will go back with a very good perception about the legal profession, the challenges that it is taking up in today's world. So over to you, ma'am. Kindly continue. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Archana. Thank you so much. Okay. I think now I invite the next speaker. I hope Tariq is here already. Tariq?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, yeah. Okay, we had a wonderful session by Dr. Manish Arora. And again, I'm sure we're going to have a very, very interesting session by Mr. Tariq Khan. Mr. Tariq Khan is a very dynamic lawyer. He's very, very young, still about only 6 years in practice. And I must say that he's made commendable achievements in the field of law. I had the opportunity of teaching him at the Faculty of Law, Jamia Millia Islamia. And I worked very closely with him because I was the dean also at that time. And I say with a lot of conviction and confidence that Tariq is really a very hardworking person and a very intelligent lawyer. And he will scale heights in the legal fraternity. God knows, I'll be very happy to see him tomorrow as a judge in the High Court or Supreme Court of India. Anyway, now a little more about Tariq. Over the years, Tariq has acquired exceptional skills in international and domestic arbitrations, MSME disputes, writs, commercial employment, insolvency, and bankruptcy laws. He has represented some of the biggest companies in construction, supply, joint venture, oil and gas, infrastructure, and renewable energy space. He's also represented leading domestic clients in high-stake project disputes involving issues relating to defective works, breach of contract, loss of profits, delay, and indemnities, to name a few. Tariq has acquired a vast experience in handling arbitrations both at the international level and national level. He's handled arbitrations under the Singapore International Arbitration Center rules, under the International Chamber of Commerce rules, the Delhi International Arbitration Center rules, and the Indian Council of Arbitration rules, again, to name a few. Tariq has also an experience of dealing with arbitration matters relating to appointment of arbitration, arbitrators, injunctions, interim reliefs, removal and substitution of arbitrators, challenging of arbitral awards, enforcement of awards in different courts across India. He is endowed with excellent advocacy skills, which can be seen in the innumerable papers that he has presented at national conferences, workshops, and seminars organized by various law schools, domestic bar associations, alternate dispute resolution fora, among other organizations. Tariq is also associated as a guest faculty and delivers very important lectures on important law areas at Lloyd Law School, Amity Law School, and many others. He has more than 50 publications today to his credit, and he's still a very, very young lawyer. Congratulations to you, Tariq.
Thank you, ma'am.
And all these articles have been published in well-known journals, magazines, and popular legal news portals. In fact, he's been featured in Fortune 500 India magazine, a special issue for the 2017 and 2018 year, for authoring the book On the Rise, published by the Universal Law Publishing House, which is an imprint of LexisNexis. He's also earned the title of being the youngest legal 40, under 40 2020. You've done us proud, Tariq, really. And in a while, I'll be requesting him now to please deliver a talk on excellence in legal education from theory to practice, because he's one person who'll be able to share his opinion and views. And being a young lawyer, he will also tell you all the hurdles that he's crossed and reached a point that he has today. Thank you so much. I end on this note. I invite him. Tariq, over to you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for a lovely introduction, ma'am. It's actually a pleasure seeing you every time and to interact with you, ma'am, and to hear such good things from you. The person I look up to, the person whom I've learned from all my college life.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, NorthCap University, for giving me this opportunity to interact with young students. And I think Mr. Manish, an excellent speaker, has covered almost all the aspects. And I'm just wondering what I'll be covering, because I think everything in a nutshell he has covered very nicely. So today, in today's discussion, I will be discussing from the scratch, because I think you'll be able to connect to my journey, because I have a lot of similarities with you. And I'm a first generation lawyer. I've done my law school from Jamia. So I'll be sharing few of the experiences with you, and I will be telling you what all you should be doing during the law schools also, which will eventually benefit you and help you in reaching closer to the aim, to the goal that you have in life. I am reminded of my role model, my mentor, Mr. Ram Jethmalani, who always used to say that he always learned from the youngsters, from young friends, from young students. And he used to say that he feels young when he's in the young company. So that's one reason why I never miss an opportunity to interact with young students, because I think I have a lot to learn from you all. And it gives me great pleasure in sharing my experience of my journey with you. So without wasting any time further, I will quickly start from the scratch. I'll take you back to basics. Before going to what you will be doing after 5 years, I'll first take you back to your first year. And I would like to ask you, or perhaps apprise you about certain basics, which I feel you all must know, which are the interesting facts about the legal profession. So the first thing which I would like to point out is that we are in a profession which is called law. So if I ask you what is law, I mean, you may not have a fixed answer, because the definition is inclusive and not conclusive. It's a very vast topic. It's a very vast subject that we are studying. Law is basically a set of rules which governs the society. Different jurisdictions may have different laws. Different states may have different laws. There are central laws, there are state laws. So law differs from the need of the society. And it essentially, if you go back, if you trace the history of law, it is merely a depiction of some customary traditions and religion, perhaps. These are all sources of law from where law has been derived. Now, another interesting basic question, which if I ask you today, what is the full form of LLB? Though you're pursuing it, but a lot of people do not know. True. So LLB stands for Legum Baccalaureus, which a lot of you must know because you are doing it. And if somebody asks you, you should not be blank, because this is something which you are going to study for 5 years. I will also tell you about Lady Justice. In a lot of Bollywood movies, you may have seen Lady Justice holding, balancing a scale and a blindfolded lady. So the reason, I mean, I'll tell you why and what is the relevance of showing that kind of symbol and who is Lady Justice. Lady Justice is basically, this has been derived from Greek mythology. Lady Justice is a goddess of justice in ancient Greek mythology. And the reason why she is holding a balance in her hand is because it is depicting that the Lady Justice will give equal opportunities to the parties and will let them present their arguments, their evidence in a particular case, and will then weigh the evidence which has been produced by the parties and decide. The second thing is that she is blindfolded. The reason of Lady Justice being blind is because justice cannot see whether you are poor or rich. These factors, these extraneous factors are not going to make a difference, irrespective of your caste, creed, gender, religion, financial ability, disability. All these factors will not come in the way of justice. Justice will not consider them, so it will treat you equally. That is the reason why it is blindfolded. The third thing is that Lady Justice has a sword in hand. The reason of having that sword is that justice has the power to implement the laws strictly and to punish the wrongdoer and to enforce its decision. That power also Lady Justice has. Now, these are the basics. There's one more basic which I will point out and then I'll tell you briefly. I know this may not be very relevant to the topic, but this is going to be very important for all of us because these are basics and it is always good to revisit the basics. You may have heard from a lot of people that, like, when people used to ask me in law school what you are doing, I used to say we are social engineers. They say, social engineers, why are you calling yourself a social engineer? So I used to tell them that we have a moral responsibility, we have an obligation towards the society, we have to make a difference in the people, in the lives of the people at large, and we have a greater responsibility towards the weaker and downtrodden section of the society. Those who cannot afford justice, those who cannot fight for themselves. It is our duty to fight for them, to take a stand for them. And we, at the end of the day, as lawyers, are the officers of the court, and it is our duty to ensure that the rule of law is implemented in its true sense. I would like to tell you that law has been considered to be a noble profession for centuries. And the reason why it has been considered as a noble profession is that you may have heard that lawyers cannot advertise. We cannot give advertisements. We cannot say, oh, Tariq Khan, a good lawyer doing so and so in newspapers. All of that is not permissible under the Bar Council rules. The reason essentially is that just like medicine, even law is a noble profession. I will tell you about the beauty of law. Long back, decades ago in London, the practice was in UK that whenever a lawyer used to argue a case, he would never ask the client for money. If you have seen the robes that lawyers wear today also, on top of the coat you wear a black robe. So that robe has a pocket at the back, if you will notice. So nowadays the pocket is, of course, it's not open, it's stitched. I have never been able to access it. But the idea behind that pocket was that after the matter, the client used to put some coins in it from the back without you asking for anything. Whatever he used to deem fit, he used to give you. So that kind of service the lawyers used to provide and used to render to the society at large. And that was the beauty about the profession. Senior lawyers similarly had a larger pocket, which could of course include more coins because they were senior lawyers. The reason was that we were discharging our duty towards the society without asking for any compensation, for any consideration. Today it may have changed. Nowadays, lawyers are considered to be people who are earning a lot. And I'll not be surprised if many of you may have joined it for this very reason, that there's a lot of money in the legal profession, which is true. I would not lie to you. But these are the things which I think we must always keep in mind while pursuing our career. that we never have to compromise on our basic principles. And we must always remind ourselves that law is a noble profession at the end of the day, and that we must not run after the shortcuts. Because initially in your law school, you will feel that, oh, the moment I graduate, I want a lot of money, I want to do this, fulfill all my dreams. But the idea is to understand that patience is the key, and Rome was not built in a day. Things take time. So do not look at others, do not compete with others, do not see why this person got a job in such a good firm, why this person has a fancy lifestyle. The idea is to believe in yourself, work harder day by day. Now I will tell you how I pursued my law degree, which the 5 years I finished. Mandala ma'am has been a witness to it, first-hand experience, knowledge she has of my struggles, my experiences. But I'll share with you things you must keep in mind. So a lot of you may have excuses to make to yourself that I may not be able to achieve my goals because I don't have command over the English language. That's the first thing you tell yourself. Second, you tell yourself that you're not confident enough to stand up and speak. So you think if a person doesn't know English, if a person cannot, be confident and speak or argue, you feel that law is not the profession for me. Other reason may be that a lot of you may have stage fright, and maybe from Hindi medium, perhaps not from a first generation lawyer, not having connections in the profession. And a lot of people may have told you that it's not what you know, it's who you know that gets you ahead in the legal profession. So honestly, these are all excuses that you make to yourself. And at the end of the day, you must remember that winners will never make excuse. And idea is that one, losing somewhere, if you participate in a moot court, if you participate in an event, and if you lose, you feel shattered. You feel that it's the end of the story. You must understand and realize that in law school, from time to time, such moments will come and these opportunities come from time to time. It's not the end of the story. Failure is basically the start of your comeback story. So you must understand that during your law school, you have to start building your CV from day one. Many of you may be in 4th year, 5th year. So whatever I'm saying, it will be relevant for all of you, believe me. I had 3 major issues in law. When I came for law, I never wanted to be a lawyer. I wanted to be an engineer, but I couldn't make it to the engineering exams because maths was something I was not very comfortable with. And I had a very tough time because of that. And then when I came for law, I had, of course, English was a language I was never familiar with. I had major issues speaking English, and because I was from a very average, below average school in a very small town in UP. And I had stage fright. I did not have confidence at all. Whenever I used to face the audience, my legs used to tremble, my hands used to shake, and I would just not be able to speak anything. Facing the audience was something which I had never done. So, with time I realized that this cannot be an excuse for me to say that I will not be able to achieve my dreams, my goals. And then I started working towards my goals, because when ideas come to your mind, they come like drafts. And when you start working on them, these ideas start taking shapes. And then eventually you will see the final result. Whenever you have an idea, a lot of people will discourage you, will tell you, no, you cannot do this. You should not do this for XYZ reason. But if you discuss your idea with 10 people, you will get 10 different answers. And eventually you will end up confusing yourself whether I should do it or not. So when you believe in something, you act on it. Do not look for approval from others, because you must realize that in our lives, there are people who try to act like anchors. Now, anchors to the ship that will slow you down. They will try to stop you, take you down. The idea is to cut them loose and keep going. So my advice strongly is, so these are the qualities which I'm discussing for becoming a professional and for achieving your goals, apart from what law will have for you in options, which Mr. Manish has already covered. I need to give you these background because these qualities you must possess, as law is an excellent and very, very rewarding profession. So when I started working, I never imagined that I'll be, able to get anything that I want. Everybody has some kind of dream, because people, some of them want to travel, some people want to buy some expensive things, they want to own something, wear good clothes. All of these things will take time. It should not be that you are just going by this rule that wherever I get the money, I will go. The idea in the initial years is to struggle, to learn the law, work as hard as you can, because once you know your subject and once you have developed that kind of niche in a particular area, then everything will follow. You don't have to look back. But the idea is to have patience. If you're thinking from day one, everybody will be following you and you'll be like Harvey Specter. So that's not going to happen, honestly. If you have that kind of expectation from this profession, then you might as well not pursue it. I would like to tell you that during law school, things that I did and things you must do, you may take a note of it. I'll tell you 8 or 10 things which all of you must mandatorily get into. And the most important exercise is CV building. From day one, you must understand, and even for people who are in 4th year and 5th year, I'm saying so, that even if your CV is in a bad shape today, only focus of yours must be on building a good CV. At the end of the day, whenever you apply for a job, whenever you go for a conference, even if you are invited as a speaker like I have been, the first thing they're going to ask you is please share your CV. And if your CV, most of you I'm sure may not have even prepared a decent CV, and some of you may not have even updated it. The idea is to work on your CV every day. It took me 6.5 years to make a good CV. After my law school was over, I changed 40-50 formats. Every month I used to try a different thing because CV should be short, it should highlight all your skills. But what to write in your CV? You can't be writing things you did in school. You have to achieve something, you have to get on, and you must have something during the law school. It cannot be that when I look at your CV, I see that when I was in 12th class, I was doing this into sports, etc., etc. It's all not relevant. So I think the earlier you realize what you want to do in life, for instance, some of you may want to go for criminal law. Some of you may want to become an academician. I'm just briefly telling you, some of you may want to become a practicing lawyer. And in that too, there are various fields like corporate law, criminal law, civil law, property law, banking, finance, mergers and acquisition in corporate law, NCLT, IBC. So it's very, very, very vast. And I, for instance, my expertise is in arbitration, though I do almost all kind of matters. But you need to understand that what is my area of interest, and then you pursue that passion. It should not be that somebody is forcing it on you that you do this subject, you pursue this subject. Today, nobody can tell me, Tariq, you do criminal law. I'm not interested in criminal law as such. My area of interest is commercial law, and I'll pursue it. So the idea is not to look at others as to what they are doing. Believe in the subject which you like, you are passionate about, pursue that. And since law school, if you are able to make that decision, which I know is very difficult, till the final year, we are very confused. So there are two categories of students. One of them are very focused since day one, which is, I think, very rare, which are like 5% of the total strength. So for those who know what they want to do, and law is something which changes from time to time, it keeps changing and you have to adapt to the ever-changing law. For instance, if today I see that arbitration is the need of the hour, it's gaining popularity, it's generating a lot of jobs. So I think automatically I will get into arbitration. I think that that's the need of the society and I need to know that. So if you have something like that in mind, for instance, mediation has a bright future. So start from now, from college. And if you think that, look, my area of interest is mediation, I'm giving you an illustration, then things you have to do is that these 10 things I will tell you, and then you will understand what I'm trying to hint at. So the first activity, which I think in law school you must do, is the most important for your CV as well as for your law school, is internships. Internships will give you that kind of practical exposure which you will never ever get in the law school. You can only read books in the law school, but the practical aspects of the implementation of that law, you will only learn in the courts and when you work with a lawyer who is dealing with a particular area of law. So that's, I think, the most important thing for law students to understand. The second thing is networking, which is going to help you all your life. And it is the second most important thing that you can do when you're in law school. So this networking may be in conferences and webinars, seminars. And when you go for events, when you go to other colleges for events, you interact with people, you make friends. When you are going for a moot court, you get in touch with the judges who came there. So be confident and try to build your own network. By the end of 5th year, you should have a decent network, and even thereafter. So networking is something which will definitely take you places for getting internships, even for getting a job. The third is the publishing of research papers. So publishing research papers is of course extremely important, because tomorrow if you apply for a job to me, I will only ask you a sample of your written work. That give me something that you have written before. I need to see your drafting skills. And even for your LLM, it's going to play a very, very important role. And for everything, I mean, wherever if a person has to make a decision about you, he or she needs to know whether you are good at writing or not, and that will only happen if you have some research papers, publications in your to your credit, because that will be, and depending on what journals are publishing your work, that will of course add an extra advantage. The other thing that I'll tell you, which is another very interesting, which a lot of senior lawyers and judges have in their interviews said, that visits to court is a very important thing. Now you'll think, why visit court? So the thing is that whatever you have learned in 5 years in law school, you may be able to learn in 5 months merely by sitting in court of law. If you are seeing matters, if you sit in a courtroom, and if you're seeing a judge deciding original matters, because moot courts are very different from the real courts, and you will only get to learn when you will see your role models, those legal veterans, maverick, arguing before the court, trying to make a point, how they, argue a weak point, and how court is giving indulgence, what are court crafts, what are the court manners. All of these things you can only understand when you see it happening in front of you. Nobody can tell you. Me or your college will not be able to tell you. So I think courts will teach you a lot. If you are sitting in a court of law from morning to evening, just try it once, give it a try. Sit in a court since morning till evening. It might be boring initially, and take notes when people are arguing. You'll see how the top lawyers of the country are arguing. You'll learn from them. So that is a quality which you will understand how to convince a judge, when to stop, how much time to take, how to present your best argument. All that you can only learn if you visit courts. The next thing which I feel is very relevant is online courses. It's become very competitive, and there are so many law colleges, and that's why I feel that it is extremely important that you have a very heavy CV. By heavy CV, I mean that you should have as many stars as you can get. So all these things that I'm telling you, they are in fact like 5 stars, 6 stars, 7 stars to your CV. So one activity is going to add one more star. So I think that online courses is also something that you can do now, especially everything is virtual post-COVID. See this as a blessing in disguise. You can do courses from Harvard, Oxford, Cambridge, Yale. In fact, you can do internships, virtual internships in foreign law firms. It's an excellent opportunity to get it on your CV. Try to apply. Many people are getting internships. Virtual internships are the new thing. Things you never imagined before can happen virtually. You can sit here and do an internship in Singapore. You can do multiple internships, in fact, at the same time. Though I would not recommend it. I would recommend you to do justice to one place and give your 100%, because you may have a bright chance of getting an absorption, replacement offer from there. So online courses are very important. In fact, PG diploma and all in ADR or in mediation, in IPR, whatever your subject is, you may do additional courses in addition to your law degree, which will show that you have been interested in this subject for a long time. Now, public legal events, like I already mentioned that networking is super important, and these events which keep happening. For instance, if I'm in arbitration, I see a conference happening by CIAC, ICC. Even if I'm a student, I will register for it and I will attend it. They're all for free, and you will get to learn a lot, and everybody from the fraternity will be present. So that is your golden chance of making a face value, and people will start seeing you. If you attend every conference, you'll see the same number of people again and again, and people will start recognizing you. So that's an excellent thing to do. Now, moot courts, of course. Moot courts are, I think, extremely important in law school, because mooters are treated like gods in law schools. If you're a good mooter, all the juniors will look up to you and they'll follow you. So for popularity, of course, that's a very good thing which everybody craves in law school. And the other thing is that mooting will teach you how to think on your feet, immediately answering and responding, and how to experience the law, how to implement it. Like I said, no teacher or no book can teach you the implementation part. And when you're given a set of facts, how do you apply law to that, which no book can, or any course can tell you. It is only when you actually do it yourself, you will understand. So application of law is the most important thing, which I think Moot Courts can do best for you, and it gives you a lot of confidence to argue before a court. Though it's fictitious, it's not as good as the real court, but that's the best you can do in a law school. So never miss on an opportunity to do Moot Courts in law college. Now, the other things which I'll tell you is debating. Debating also plays a very important role. Manjula ma'am had organized a parliamentary debate with me, and I think it was an excellent opportunity for other students also to learn. So the good thing about debating extempore is that it makes you super confident, and you are given 1 minute perhaps before extempore to prepare on a topic and speak. Similarly, in debates, that some of the topics are extremely difficult to speak on. They're very, I mean, something you cannot even think about, but that brings out the best in you, the creativity in you. So I think debating also plays a very important role, of course, not as important as moot courts. So these are the broad lines on which I feel law students must focus during law school. And if you are focused on a particular area of subject of law, for instance, criminal law, then all these things should be in that direction. You do all your internship with criminal lawyers. You do all these courses in criminal law. You prepare all your research papers on criminal law, like bail, white collar crimes, etc., etc. These conferences which you attend, you should go for only those conferences which are on criminal law. So when I look at your CV, it should be super impressive. You have done everything in criminal law, all your internships, your moot courts also on criminal law. So you just focus on one area. Do not try to delve into everything, because you cannot be master of all, but you need to have that kind of expertise. As a law student also, you can develop that the way I am telling you. But most of you obviously will not be confident till the end as to what you want to do. And therefore, I suggest that if you have no idea, if you have no guardian, you can watch a lot of videos on YouTube. There's a lot of literature, a lot of interviews where people have told you how to sieve out and winnow down the options. So that's something which you can do at home. Like I learned the law and I learned English language from Justice Krishna Iyer. I used to read his judgments. I've never met him. The late centenarian, somebody I look up to even today. And I think one of the most brilliant minds. So I used to see his videos and I used to read his judgments to improve my command over the legal lexicon. So, reading those kind of judgments, using them in moot courts, I used to do all that day and night. And that's how I perhaps think, I owe him to improve my English to some extent, that I'm able to interact in this language, which I was never comfortable with today with you all. So that's something which you can do, even if you are shy, because most of you will be very shy. You cannot approach your seniors. You cannot approach people directly. You feel very underconfident that what will they think? What if they say no? But believe me, it's nothing like that. Nobody's going to say no to you. If you respectfully approach them, you need to understand that whom to reach out over an email and whom to reach out over a text. What are the timings on which you can send a message? You cannot be casual. You have to be formal and you have to be responsible. And everybody is going to entertain to your request. There may be exceptions, but please reach out to people wherever you need an internship or a job. Now, one more thing which I would like to tell you, I know I'm running against the clock, so I'll try to finish quickly. But there are 2-3 more things which I want to highlight. As a professional, all these areas, because I think, 3 organs of the government, like judiciary, legislature, executive, in all these 3 fields, I think law is applicable everywhere. I think this is the only profession which permits you to go into all these 3. It depends on you where you want to go. You can go for NGOs if you're interested in social work. You can perhaps, you can also do IPS, IAS, UPSC exam, because a lot of subjects are in common. I've seen a lot of lawyers doing that. Then criminal law, civil law, company law, like I told you, you can go join a law firm. You can be into document review. You can work with a PSU. You can be the legal head of a company, and you can be a general counsel. You can work with the government for making policy and all, and working on various acts. Apart from that, you can work with a law firm. You can, I think, be an author, academician. You can write columns. You can do everything with a law degree, frankly. So, and I honestly don't think anything has to do with your law school. The idea is to choose a law school which is giving you the practical insights, because there's no point thinking that, no, I want to go to the top law school. The idea is not to crib about anything. It's about the individual, not about the law school only. Yes, there is a tag which exists, I will agree. But at the end of the day, there are people like I mean, so many people who have not done it from the top prominent law school, but still they have been able to make a mark. So the only thing that you need to understand in pursuing your career, no matter which field you choose, is that hard work, hard work, hard work. That's the only way forward. Don't think that, I will be lucky, I will get lucky. It's all about destiny. I appreciate all of that, but the harder you work, the luckier you will get. You must always remember this. I have never seen anybody sitting at home not doing anything getting luckier. I have only seen those people getting lucky who have actually put in 100% efforts and honestly believe in a cause. So unless you have that kind of commitment, and I have not seen anybody honestly, frankly, sharing it with you, somebody who has worked hard has not been able to reach his goal. There may be exceptions, but I honestly have not come across somebody who has put in his or her 200% and has not reached closer to the goal, if not the goal. So even if you aim for 100, even if you reach 90, I think that's a lot rather than just being at 10 or 20. So the idea is to believe in yourself and strive for success day and night, believe in it, and please ensure and believe that you have the power of positivity in you. Do not believe in negativity. Do not let negativity slow you down. So negativity doesn't live here and it shouldn't live there in your mind as well. Never be negative about anything. If you believe in something, you need to start acting. And the last few things which I would like to tell you, which I think may be relevant today, because I mean, I've taken already decent time. So you need to understand that in post-COVID times, you may be feeling blank and clueless because a lot of people are not hiring, and you feel that there's no classes, nothing is happening. You may feel isolated. Perhaps you may feel that nothing is working out. But you need to understand that it is the situation for everyone. Everyone is sitting at home, and that's the best thing to do. And this is just a phase which will go. It is not going to stay forever. But try to be productive during this time. Try to utilize it to the best of your ability. Do virtual internship. We are giving virtual internships, for instance, and a lot of students are doing it. Make yourself abreast with the recent development in the law. Download Bar and Bench Live Law on your phones. You will get legal updates every day. And you read judgments. That's the most important thing as a law student you can do, because knowledge of law is most important. I may tell you do this, do that, but unless you know the law, nobody's going to entertain you, frankly. If I ask you a question or two and if you do not know, and if I ask you about a recent development in the area of your interest, you should be able to justify your CV also. Doing activities is not enough. If you actually are passionate about a subject, you need to know everything around that subject. So if you ask me today about any recent judgment which has been pronounced on arbitration, I keep a check on each and every judgment which is being delivered in the country. So that's the kind of dedication and commitment which is required. So please start reading judgments, get into the habit of reading judgments. Start from the interesting ones. I will not expect you to start from the most technical ones, but the idea is to read. That's super important. Another thing I'd like to tell you is that if you are in first year, do not worry. It's not a profession which will require a lot of your time. Enjoy, live your life, make friends, be happy. Don't take a lot of pressure. You're not into medicine or engineering or anything. You are into law. The idea is to make friends also, have a good network, learn teamwork, learn how to coordinate with people, how to work in an organization. All of these traits are eventually going to benefit you. And eventually you will see your skills as a leader also. Take participation in all these activities which are being organized, take initiatives for the law school, because at the end of the day, you are the brand ambassador of your college and your college will be recognized by its products. So wherever you go, the name of the college will follow, and whatever impression you give to the others, that's the image they will have of your college. I think I'll not speak further, and any questions if you may have, I'll be happy to answer. Thank you very much, Manjula ma'am and NorthCap University for giving me this opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you, Tariq. It was an excellent talk, really, very enlightening. And I think you really motivated our students and even the aspirants who are seeking admission in law. And, the nuances that you touched, like being a student and what you felt as a student in Jamia, and you felt like there were other law schools that were maybe NLU is better. Well, I agree with you. Jamia Law School is very good, and so is NCU today, because I've come from Jamia and I've been here for over 2 months now, and I can say with a lot of belief that we have the best that whether Jamia offers or we offer or any law school offers. There's going to be one of the questions which I'm just going to ask you later, but to share your thoughts with the participants. I think when you talked about Justice Krishna Iyer, I also, have a lot of admiration for this judge. And I remember as a student, I used to read his judgments with a lot of feelings and passion. And to share with everybody, I had the opportunity of meeting him at Kerala Bhavan in New Delhi. I was taken there by Professor Madhav Menon because he wanted me to work on Procurator's office in the USSR. And I had done Russian. So he wanted me to, compare the two. And I wrote a paper for Justice Krishna Iyer. And He was such a humble person, such a down-to-earth person. And I mean, I looked at him and I said, my God, completely awed by him. I said, this person, he is actually an international figure and he's actually rocking India. And he's actually brought changes in the Supreme Court, because it was at that time that Supreme Court was going through that golden era, public interest litigation. Justice Bhagwati was there. So I completely endorse your feelings, which you have. And I remember when we had the Bhopal tragedy, he called it Bhopa Shima because he used to coin his own words. Always.
Yeah,
And
made
he coined his own words. Yes, yes.
Oh, wow. I think
Manish
Sir has
yes. Yeah.
amazing picture
So,
of.
yes, yes. And you've been talking about the focus of students, law students. I agree. We can't be, like jack of all trades and master of none. Law is like an ocean. So we have to pick up certain specializations because that is the need of the hour, the need of the society. They want specialized legal services. So the way you've talked about, different ranges, you've talked about arbitration, mediation, criminal law, and you've said that you kind of build up your CV. I think that's a very good suggestion for the students because they need to start building up right from third year onwards. Because I've seen many students from NLU Bangalore where they write articles and we can see those articles in journals. So since I've joined this place, I'm encouraging students to write research papers, which I could edit and we could get them published. Anyway, now there are some questions, from the participants coming, and I'd like to put those questions before both of you, Dr. Manish Arora and Mr. Tariq Khan. One question says, what steps should be taken for fulfilling the gap between practice and theoretical study of law? So if Manish could answer this question.
All right, okay. So yes, theory into practice. That's an important aspect. And obviously, I think Tariq said about it a lot in his session that whatever you read and whatever you deliver is absolutely there are certain gaps absolutely there. But I think the present day law schools, especially law schools like NorthCap University, like organizing maybe like today's webinar is something like bridging a gap, because you are bridging a gap between what even your students who are in your first year, second year, third year, fourth year, or fifth year. But whatever them taught are taught very well. But organizing such webinars where they can interact with the first time, like they're interacting with Tariq. So that means they know how a person of a 6 years standing can do so well, and what all hurdles, as he mentioned, and what all happened. So that is one of the best ways to bridge gap. And obviously another ways are like you all do is the Moot Courts and you have these seminar societies and everything in house. So coming out with seminars, writing papers as you write, that is good, because once you're writing a paper, you're going to actually read the judgments, because once you're writing, you cannot write just what are coming to. It's not a fiction. It's something what you're writing is. You have to refer to judgments. You write it. That means you're reading the judgment. So you know what is practically happening in the courtrooms. So what is happening in the courtrooms, and you are taught. Both are compared. So I think this kind of webinars and moot courts and all those things is the best way to bridge the gap, and that the law schools are doing quite well these days.
Yeah, thank you, Manish. We have a next question, and I'll put this question to Tariq. Tariq, one of the participants wants to know: do you think that there is great need for reformation in law studies?
I remember Justice Krishna here saying that education is not imparted, it is sold. So I feel that law schools and the stakeholders need to understand that it's fine if you are charging exorbitant fees, that's okay. Because ideally, legal education should be accessible to all. And if a person is there who's coming from the weaker or downtrodden section of the society, must have the opportunity to be a part of such law schools, which are doing otherwise very well. Because Manish sir rightly pointed, it does have a bearing on your life, which law school you are doing your law from. Apart from that, I feel that there are a few changes which are required. The syllabus must be revised. For instance, I'll give you an illustration. What the problem that I have. I've been teaching for 6 years. I taught in ILI for the first 3 years. Then I've been giving lectures across the country. But I've been teaching with Lloyd Law School now, visiting faculty. But I think that there is no focus on the structuring the syllabus properly. For instance, we were taught, even I for that matter, ma'am, you would remember. I mean, this is nothing that law schools can do. This is something that the Bar Council perhaps should understand. That IPC is being taught in first year, second year. Tax is being taught in third year, and then they're teaching interpretation of statute in fifth year or fourth year.
Yeah.
So, I mean, this is some kind of anomaly which I feel that without application of mine. So you are being taught how to interpret those statutes and you are reading those subjects. Ideally, in my view, first they should tell you, look, this is how the interpretation of these statutes to be done. Then when you read it, it gives you clarity that something is to be strictly applied, something is to be harmoniously read, all of those things. Apart from that, I think that all of us play a very important role. NorthCap University has an excellent infrastructure. It has made a name for itself in such a short period of time. Similarly, I feel that all law schools should come together. We should all see that each and every law college should support itself. And you know, if any, perhaps there are things which your university can offer to other law schools, the students from other law schools who otherwise are deprived of certain facilities, then I think all the law schools must work together hand in hand to ensure better quality of legal education in India, and that the quality of the lawyers which we will have eventually, that should improve. That's what I think. And I think I would also like to point out quickly, the bar exam quality needs to be, it must be improved. We need to, shortlist, and we need to make it stricter. I think almost everybody is passing that exam. It's just a formality, the way it is currently. So we need to make it like those New York bar exam. And although I have not given it, but I know that it's difficult to. So sir may be in a better position to highlight on that, but that's what I think.
Yes. Yeah, I agree with you. I think the Bar Council is too easy. And if we compare it with the bar exam, if we compare it with the US or Canada or even UK, I mean, it's tough to get through over there. I know one of our oldest students in Jamia first batch who wrote to me and said, ma'am, I want to sit for the bar exam. And she's been working in a legal firm and wants to sit for the bar exam. And she says she's over 50 now. And she says, it's very difficult. Can you teach me, ma'am? I said, how can I teach you through, virtual platform, and the subjects will be different. But then it is tough over there, I agree. And we in India need to make it really tough here and at least build up the standard. Maybe Manish would be able to tell us something about it.
Yes, no, I think I very much agree with Tariq on that point, that especially on the bar exam, because bar exam is basically more of a formality. What I think today, that a student has to give a bar exam and then only he'll get a practice certificate. That's it. But obviously, because then the pass percentage might be around 90, 95, 99, whatever. But yes, I have sat for 2 foreign exams, the New York bar exam and the Texas bar exam. And I sat for them long back in 1993. It is almost like 27 years back. So at that time, yes, I couldn't pass the New York bar exam, but fortunately I could clear the Texas one. Wow. So So basically, even I flunked in the New York bar exam, but I could I could get through Texas, but Texas exam because of the local, because they had all there are a lot of local laws also covered in that. Whereas the best part in India is that we have an all India bar exam.
Yeah.
Because obviously US is a federal state, so they have every state has a different bar exam. So it's more difficult there because you need to know the local laws itself. But whereas the India, otherwise it's good that we have a one exam, all India bar exam. But I am also for that, like, yes, it must be made a bit tougher so that we have people less coming on to it. Like they should actually struggle on to come to the bars. But today everybody gets on, so that's that's an easy cakewalk for most of us. But anyways, I think the Bar Council may
consider. Yes, yes. Okay, there's another question with Tariq, maybe because you're a young lawyer and you'll be able to answer better. What are the basic elements to be a good lawyer, and from where we should start our practice? Should we start from the district court or the high court?
I think that it's a very good question, but I feel that if you want to go for litigation, so honestly, I feel that going to district court, yes, will teach you the trial, which you will learn nowhere else. Like I'm fortunate to do arbitrations, a lot of them. So I learn trial day and night there also. But I think district court essentially will teach you more about the procedural aspect, like technicalities of law, like CPC and evidence, which I don't think the High Court or Supreme Court can teach you. And a lot of time you will feel underconfident and embarrassed when you have to cross-examine a witness and you do not know anything. So, a lawyer will come and he will be able to point out, because a lot of times you lose on technicalities. So yes, I think you must, it depends on you. It's not a hard and fast rule, because the condition of some of the trial courts is such that a person may not want to spend his or her first year there. But they should perhaps work with a lawyer. I mean, for instance, if there's an independent lawyer, he may be taking cases of different forums. I think that's the best kind of practice. Appearing in Supreme Court, appearing in CAT, appearing in NCLT, appearing in High Court, having matters in all district courts. So people who do not restrict their practice to a particular fora, I think that's the kind of senior one must look at. I was fortunate. I've been doing work on the criminal side also, tax, IPR, IBC. And thereafter, eventually over the years, I've been able to shortlist, which is my area of interest. And I can call myself that this is the area of which I would want to be an expert in. So I think that's the thing.
Yeah, there are lots of questions, but we'll have to cut down on the number of questions. One student wants to know that, when, like Tariq had said, that if you're not so good in English, can you survive in this profession? Manish, please, could you tell us something about it? They are worried.
Okay. No, see, absolutely. I think English is an important aspect. No issues at all. But yes, over the years, one can overcome things very easily, very properly, because see, English would be a good medium, because in the courts, like starting from the Supreme Court, High Courts, we have the English as a medium, quite a lot of district courts also, session courts also. But yes, at the lower level district courts or the lower level courts, Tulika courts and Munsif courts and all those, there we have regional languages too, which come up. But if a lawyer wants to be a good lawyer at that itself, so a regional language also earns a lot of accolades. Because I remember a lot of cases when something we need to go to a lower court. So you need a lower lawyer, that particular low court lawyer, to actually be there, because the interpretation and everything is totally difficult. And sometimes even if that case comes to the Supreme Court or High Court, you need an interpreter from there. As ma'am was telling that for USSR thing, because knew Russian, so Justice Krishna Iyer could call upon you, because that's a language barrier, definitely, because even Justice Krishna Iyer could not understand the essence of the USSR or the Russian language. So from that point of view, yes, I think, but English is important, no doubt at all, and English is very much important, and one must grab through and take clues from Tariq on that, because I think that Tariq himself started with his session on that itself, that he was not that fluent, or that maybe not that, but yes, so that is how. See, within a short span, 10 years back Tariq was different, and 10 years now Tariq is different. So it will not. It just takes your guts to start doing it. So it's not a barrier, but it's something like one can overcome. Anyways, yes, we have a living example right here.
Ma'am, you're on mute.
Yeah.
You're on mute.
Yeah.
Sorry,
No, I think.
I have to go for another meeting. And is Archana ma'am here? Archana ma'am? Garima ma'am? I think everybody's busy.
Yeah, Archana ma'am is in meeting too.
Okay, so I've been invited for a meeting.
I'm there. I'm there,
Huh?
ma'am. Just 1 second. I'm there. Yes, ma'am.
Archana, I've been told to connect with the meeting right now. Okay, so could you just take over?
Yes, definitely.
Huh?
Definitely.
Yeah, okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah.
So, all right. Thank you so much, both the speakers of today's event, and it was really great hearing from you both. And I'm sure the guidance that you have shown to our students is definitely going to give them a very right direction towards what they're aiming to in their 5 years of tenure in law school. And not only that, but also those who are aspiring to probably join legal education in the days to come. Garima, are you there?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, so if we could take up, if there are any questions or so, if we could just take it up.
Yeah, we have already taken, there are so many questions, ma'am, so I think.
Okay, any more questions?
Is there any other queries, any questions that we need to take up, or otherwise we will be?
Ma'am, there is one question which a student is asking about that which type of books one should read. Which type of books?
All right. So our today's speakers, if you would like to address this question.
I think Manish sir is the best person about books. So he'll be in a better position. So I have authored only one with Universal, but I think sir will be in a better position.
No, definitely. Okay, fine. See, I don't know whether the question is from an aspirant or from ongoing student. But anyways, I'll answer for both of them because obviously we have participants from both the sides. So see, for an aspirant who wants to get into law, obviously the basic thing is that there are a lot of law entrance guides and everything. But apart from that, the best part to do is to read a newspaper every day. That is one thing, at least from 1 year, because whenever the exam is, 1 year before the newspaper headings or newspaper things do come in the examination. May it be a CLAT examination or may it be any other examination. So that is one thing, and then a lot of legal GK and a lot of common GK has to be done. And then switching on to if the person who has asked the question is from he is already pursuing law, so definitely I think the textbooks. See, because there is a lot of things which has come up in the past 1 or 2 decades is people use small guides and small things to clear the examination. But clearing up examination is one thing. The major thing is that how do you understand law? In our times also we used to had some long back, we used to call them dukkis and we used to have them 25-27 years back also. But reading from Mullah Hindu law or Mullah's Mohammedan law or certain other like KD God's Indian Penal Code or kind of a thing, or Ratan Lal, Dheeraj Lal IPC. So that is something like which will be you can possess those books for good, and if you read them, because as we all are saying that reading is very important. So once you read it from there and you go ahead, I think within these 5 years law itself, if you read through good textbooks and good things, you are already you are a ready-made a lawyer who doesn't need to actually because you'll get the same law degree anyways, but getting reading from the main textbooks, you will be enriched for life. Even today I remember reading a CPC from somewhere. I still remember certain particular cases. I could remember the mullah's books which we do too, but obviously these books are like, obviously they are gems and they will live with you in your head and mind forever. So I would definitely prefer, but that definitely for your examination point of view, you need to grab certain other add-ons. So anyways, that's it.
Yeah, I think that is one of the most valuable suggestions that you have given about, the importance of reading a book. I think this is something missing. We can see this is seriously lacking in today's generation. Probably, people are looking forward to some shortcut ways of earning knowledge, but I don't think there is any shortcut to that rather than reading a book. So that's, I think, all those young budding lawyers and those aspirants who are present here today, they will take this advice of sir very seriously, and they would start, reading books. I think there cannot be any alternative to that. So I think we have come to the end of the today's session, and I am really sincerely thankful to both of you for initiating this discussion and giving some valuable, very valuable, in fact, advices to our students. I think this is the need of the hour. I understand that we represent a law school, but at the same time, as a responsible member of the legal fraternity, I feel that it is our duty as an academician, as a practitioner, it is our duty to guide the law students, guide the students who are aspiring for studying law in the right direction. And I think both of you have done the same thing today. Thank you so much. And we would look forward to having both of you again in our future events. And I hope once the pandemic situation improves, our students will also be getting an opportunity to hear from you directly when we will be able to invite you both to our university, and we will have a direct sessions with you both. Thank you so much. With that, and thanks all the students, all the law experienced parents who have come today, joined us today for listening to these wonderful speakers today. Thank you so much for joining today, and wishing you a great career in law in the days to come. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, Manish sir. Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am. We are ending the session. Thank you so much for your time, everyone.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Thank you so much.
Karima. Thank you so much.